There is a power within you that has never slept, not in your darkest hour, not in your brightest day. It is the same power that said, "Let there be light," and there was light. I tell you now that power is your own wonderful human imagination, and if you will but dare to believe it, not tomorrow, not after 1,000 meditations, but here, now, in this very moment, you will manifest what you desire in just 4 minutes. Time, my friends, is an illusion. The world reflects states, not clocks. 4 minutes of true assumption, 4 minutes of living in the end, is more potent than 40 years of laboring for your dreams. In that sacred interval, if you truly become what you wish to be, the world must conform. It cannot help it. For what you assume to be true becomes your reality. This is not theory, this is law. Close your eyes, not to escape the world, but to enter it more deeply. See what you desire, not as something to be, but something that already is. Don't think of the wish, think from it. You are not becoming, you are. Now feel the thrill of it, the relief, the joy. Don't wait for evidence, feel it real, and the world will mirror your inner claim. Let the world say what it wants, let appearances threaten, they are shadows, echoes of an old belief. You, the operant power, do not need permission, nor time, nor technique. You need only assume and persist. And if for 4 minutes you can surrender completely to that inner knowing, the world, like clay, will shape itself around your imagination. You are God awakening, not someday, but now. So dare to dwell in the state of the wish fulfilled and walk in that inner knowing. All things are possible to the one who believes. And belief is nothing more than sustained imagination. Your second wealth, in the end, will begin to dwell in you. All that you behold, though it appears without, it is within, in your imagination. This world, with all its complexities and seeming outer causes, is but a projection of that which you have entertained within yourself. Imagination is not a faculty. It is the very essence of being. It is not something you use. It is what you are. To understand this, you must first strip away the illusion that life is coming at you from outside. The senses lie. The evidence they offer is not truth, but reflection. You think the world exists independently of your awareness, but it does not. The world you walk through each day is shaped, colored, and sustained by the imaginal acts you repeat in secret. Think for a moment of your past. Go back to a time when you were in despair. Did it not seem real? Were not the conditions around you shouting loudly? Yet in time, those shadows passed, and what once seemed immovable crumbled. What changed? Your imagination shifted. You assumed something new, perhaps unconsciously, and the world obeyed. Now imagine a world where the invisible shapes the visible. That is the truth of existence. Imagination is the womb of reality. It is the invisible root from which all visible things spring. Just as a seed contains the blueprint for a tree, your imaginal acts contain the pattern of your future. When you imagine with feeling, you are planting seeds in the soil of the subconscious. And just as surely as night follows day, your harvest will come. If you accept that imagination is reality, you must also accept that what you dare to assume as true, no matter how improbable, must in time take shape in your world. The outer world is not cause, it is effect. It is your own self pushed out. Most people look to change their circumstances, forgetting that the only real change must occur within. They try to force the world, to persuade others to struggle and strive, but the wise one turns inward. They know that imagination, feelingly assumed, is the source of all creation. When the world tells them it cannot be done, they retreat into the secret place of the Most High, their own wonderful imagination, and dwell in the end. You have done this before. though you may not have known it. Have you ever worried about something and then watched it come to pass? Have you ever expected disappointment and received it? That was imagination working faithfully. The law does not discriminate. It creates whatever you assume. Fear and faith are the same in their operation. Both are imaginal states, believed in and therefore made real. So, if imagination is the only reality, then the key to transformation is not effort, but assumption. You must learn to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, not just as a fleeting thought, but as a living reality in your mind. You must dwell in the state, walk in it, speak from it, even before the world reflects it back to you. This is not pretense, it is creation. It is knowing the truth and resting in it until the lie of the senses dissolve. Everything begins with imagination. Before a home is built, it is first drawn. Before it is drawn, it is first imagined. And before that, it is felt as a desire, a longing, a vision. The process is always the same. The invisible precedes the visible. The inner births the outer. You must discipline yourself to live inwardly, to observe not the outer man, but the inner speech, the inner pictures, the inner states you entertain, for these are the makers of your world. Every time you imagine with feeling, you are selecting a reality. You are aligning yourself with a future version of yourself and calling it into being. Let the world be as it is. Do not fight it. Change your conception of yourself, and the world will mirror the change. This is not magic, it is law. You are not a victim of fate, but a creator by nature. And the tool of creation lies within you, not in effort, not in will, but in imagination. So choose this day what you shall believe. Imagine wisely, deliberately, and let your inner world become more real to you than the one your eyes report. For that unseen realm is the source of everything you will ever experience. And once you know this, not just intellectually, but deeply, experientially, the world is yours, because it is you. Feeling is the one and only medium through which desire becomes reality. It is not the words you speak, nor the thoughts you casually think, but the deep emotional acceptance of a thing as true that brings it to pass. Whatever you feel yourself to be, you become. Whatever you feel is happening to you begins to unfold. Feeling is the doorway through which the unseen enters the seen. Many believe imagination alone is enough. They picture a thing, then wonder why it has not appeared. But imagination without feeling is barren. It is like planting a seed in dry soil and expecting a harvest. Only when the seed is watered with emotion, with the deep, vibrant knowing that it is so, does life spring forth. It is feeling that impresses the subconscious, and the subconscious creates without argument, without hesitation, whatever is impressed upon it. It is the ultimate, and that is why Fullo, when he says, all is innate, is impressed upon it. You may say the words, I am wealthy, or I am loved, but if you feel lack or loneliness while saying them, the feeling will override the words. The subconscious does not understand words. It understands vibration, the vibration of belief, and that vibration is feeling. When the feeling of being what you desire floods your being, when it saturates you so completely that you forget the old man, the old limitations, then and only then does creation begin. And all creation is already finished. Every possibility exists now. There are infinite versions of you, healthy, sick, wealthy, poor, joyful, burdened. And you move between them not by action, but by feeling. When you feel differently, you become differently. And the world must reconfigure to match the new emotional frequency you embody. There is no one to change but self. And self is not changed through force or external rearrangement, but through the inner movement of feeling. When you change your concept of yourself by assuming a new feeling, you change the world in which you live. That is the great secret. That is the key many overlook while chasing techniques and rituals. It is not what you do that matters, but what you feel as you do it. Sit in silence. Close the outer eye. Turn inward, not with anxiety, but with trust. Ask yourself, what would I feel if I were now the person I wish to be? Not what will I feel when it happens, but what do I feel now, knowing it is already done? Feel that now. Let it move through your body. Let it settle into your breath, your posture, your being, and stay there. You may not see results in that moment, but something will have shifted. The state of being you just assumed has been impressed. And if you return to it again and again, as one returns to a home, it becomes the new dwelling place of your soul. From that place, the world must bend to match the mold you hold within. Never chase the manifestation, chase the feeling. Dwell in the feeling of already being what you desire, and the world will chase you with the evidence. The form will find you, but you must not look outward for confirmation too soon, or the seed is dug up before it has rooted. Even in dreams, it is feeling that makes the unreal seem real. Have you not awakened in sweat or tears from a dream, though nothing touched you physically? The body responds to what the mind and heart accept as true, and so does the world. Outer circumstances are dreamlike in nature. They obey the inner assumption. They do not cause it. The great error is to believe that feeling is the result of circumstances, that you must wait for change before you allow yourself to feel differently. But the truth is the opposite. Circumstances are the result of feeling. You must feel abundance before wealth comes. You must feel chosen before love appears. You must feel free while the chains still rattle, and in time they will fall away. This is not emotion in the shallow sense, not surface excitement, not mere repetition of affirmation. It is the deep, quiet knowing that what you assume is real, and living from that assumption. You may walk in poverty, but feel wealth. You may be alone, but feel married. And if that feeling is sustained, the word cannot help but reflect the new state. Every time you return to that feeling, in thought, in rest, in imagination, you are building your new world. You are watering the seed, and what you water grows. What you feel lives. Feeling is the secret link between thought and form, between idea and experience, between desire and fulfillment. Master it, and you master creation itself. To live from the end is to claim now what the world insists belongs to tomorrow. It is to inwardly assume that which your senses deny, and to walk in a world that has not yet conformed, as though it already has. The world will say you are mad, the senses will scream in contradiction, but truth lies not in the visible, but in the invisible, knowing that what is assumed with feeling must in time become fact. All change begins with a shift in awareness. You cannot desire what you do not already possess in potential. The very moment a desire is born within you, its fulfillment is equally present, not in the future, but in a dimension hidden from the senses and revealed through imagination. The only thing standing between you and the experience of your desire is the state of consciousness you occupy. All states exist now. To experience a new life, you must enter the state of that life and dwell in it, not for a moment, but as a way of being. Do not concern yourself with how your desire will unfold. The how belongs to a realm not yours to govern. You are not to build the bridge. You are to dwell at the destination. Living from the end means emotionally relocating to the version of yourself where the desire is already fulfilled. You do not wait for it to happen. You move into it, mentally and emotionally, as though it is happening now. Ask not how it will come, but who you are if it is already so. Answer that with feeling, and you will know your next step. When you live from the end, you no longer look for signs. You no longer question or measure or waver. You simply know. That knowing is not intellectual, it is experiential. You feel the inner relief, the calm satisfaction of having it already, and that feeling sustains you, while the outer world reacts to reflect your new state. All things are states of consciousness. Wealth is a state, love is a state, health is a state, and states are entered through imagination and maintained through inner conviction. There is nothing to earn, there is only something to assume. When you assume the state of your desire as real and live from that place inwardly, the world must catch up. You need not fake anything outwardly. It is not a matter of performance, but of internal residence. When the inner conversation has changed, when your thoughts, reactions, and assumptions align with the new state, that is the sign of true occupancy. You are no longer reaching for the desire, you are living from it. And that subtle shift changes everything. Do not dwell on the facts of the present. Facts are but frozen states, remnants of former assumptions. Let them be. They have no power unless you continue to give them life through attention. Withdraw your attention from what is and give it wholly to what you choose to be. That is not escape, that is creation. What you refuse to claim as true for yourself will not persist in your experience. What you accept, even in silence, becomes your world. Use the power of your imagination, not to escape reality, but to create it. Every time you imagine the end fulfilled and feel its truth, you are rewriting the script. Each scene, no matter how small, contributes to the whole. Even a moment of alignment, sustained with feeling, has the power to alter the course of events. But you must persist. You must return again and again to the end, until it becomes natural, until it becomes self-evident. When you live from the end, you collapse time. You remove the sense of waiting. You no longer look forward to your desire. You look from it. This inner shift creates an outer echo. People, places, and events will rearrange as if drawn by a hidden hand. But the world is not being manipulated. It is being compelled by law. The outer must conform to the inner blueprint once it is fully accepted and sustained. Dare to dwell in the end, not as a visitor, not as a hopeful dreamer, but as a resident. Make it your home. Think from it, feel from it, speak from it. Let it become so familiar that the old state feels foreign. You are not becoming, you are revealing. And the version of you that lives in the fulfilled desire is already complete. You need only move into that identity, and the world will move with you. Time is not the cause of your manifestation. Time is not a force that delivers your desire. It is not a distance to be traveled, nor a delay to be endured. Time is simply a measure of change in the visible world, nothing more. Manifestation does not begin when results appear. It begins the moment you assume your desire to be real. That assumption is the seed. The unfolding that follows is not creation, but confirmation. The idea that you must wait for your good is a deception of the senses. You say, it will come one day, and by saying so, you push it away into a future that never arrives. All that is real must be now, for the eternal is not bound by clocks or calendars. What you assume with conviction in the present moment is whether or not your eyes have caught up to the truth. The world lags behind your consciousness. It reflects, it follows, it echoes, but it does not lead. The moment you dare to claim, I am, something within you shifts. The world may not shake, but the foundation of your experience changes. And that inner movement, that silent conviction, is the beginning of the manifestation. The length of time between assumption and appearance is irrelevant. Some things bloom in an instant. Others mature over weeks or months. But this does not mean the creation is slow. Only the unfolding appears so. In truth, the state you assume becomes real immediately in the unseen. You must not look to time as the evidence of progress. Do not say, it has been many days and still nothing has changed. That attitude reveals that you are living in the shadow of the old state, not in the light of the new one. For when you truly assume, you no longer measure. You no longer wait. You no longer seek signs. You dwell in the knowing that it is done, and in that knowing, you rest. You do not plant a seed and dig it up each morning to check its growth. You plant it, and you trust the invisible process. And so it must be with your desires. Once you have assumed the state of the wish fulfilled, your only task is to remain faithful to that state regardless of appearances. For appearances are delayed reflections, and your reality was born the moment you believed. Time tempts you to doubt. It whispers that nothing is happening. It seduces you with logic and measurement. But the law of consciousness does not operate in linear steps. It is not bound by delay, only by belief. If you continue to hold the assumption with feeling, not clinging in desperation, but resting in conviction, then what you desire must become fact. It must. For all things move toward the shape of the feeling you consistently hold. The world is always catching up to who you are being. If you are being the one who has, then life will shape itself around that identity. But if you continue to look at the world and say, when will it come? You confess that you are not yet it. And so it continues to remain separate from you, not because of the world, but because of the state you occupy. The unseen is more real than the seen, and your assumptions are the blueprint of that unseen. The moment you construct it in imagination, the structure is real. The senses may not report it, but that is of no consequence. Do not wait for the world to catch up before you allow yourself to feel differently. Feel now. Assume now, be now, and you will see that time is only a servant of the state. It has no power of its own. When you understand that time has no authority, you no longer chase, you no longer doubt, and you no longer need permission. You step into the moment fully, knowing that what you accept within must project without. This is the eternal now, the only moment that creates. Everything you desire lives here, in this invisible field of assumption. Enter it boldly, and it will become visible in due season. Not because time has passed, but because truth has been accepted. Creation is finished. You do not manifest by forcing time to bend. You manifest by bending yourself into the state of the already fulfilled. And from that state, time simply organizes the outer picture to match the inner certainty. You are not waiting for the manifestation. You are only remembering that it began the moment you said yes within. And when that yes becomes your dwelling place, the rest must follow. Every moment of the day there is a voice speaking within you. Not the voice you use with others, but the silent, persistent dialogue that carries on beneath your actions, beneath even your intentions. This inner conversation is not idle. It is creative. It is law. It is the script from which your world is printed. What you whisper to yourself in the silence, the world shouts back in form. You may believe that outer conditions shape your thoughts, but in truth, the opposite is so. The thoughts you inwardly repeat, especially those charged with emotion and identity, form the mold through which the world takes shape. If your inner dialogue is saturated with fear, conflict, and limitation, then even the most favorable conditions will be bent toward that vision. But if your internal speech is noble, confident, expectant of good, then even adversity will reorganize itself to serve your higher vision. Your inner conversations are not mere fantasies. They are rehearsals of reality. To say, I never get a break, or people always disappoint me, may feel like harmless reflection, but it is not. It is instruction. It is direction. And the subconscious mind, ever faithful, will ensure the world reflects what you have declared in secret. The outer world is obedient to the inner man. You must become aware of the words you speak to yourself. They are seeds. They are prayers. They are silent commands spoken into the law of life. What you say within, you are. What you are within, the world becomes. There is no escape from this truth. It operates whether you are aware or not, so better to become aware, to speak within yourself what you wish to see. When you imagine a conversation in which someone offends you, you are not observing reality, you are creating it. When you inwardly defend yourself, argue, or seek validation, you are not releasing the past, you are perpetuating it. For in your imagination, that event is happening now. And what happens now in imagination becomes what happens later in the outer world. But this also means that you are free, gloriously free to revise your world by revising your inner speech. No longer must you beg life to change. You simply change the conversation. Begin to speak within yourself words that uplift, that affirm, that assume the best, not just about yourself, but about others, about life, about the world itself. Say to yourself, everything is working in my favor. Say, I am always chosen. Say, life rises to meet me. And though nothing changes outwardly at first, you will have shifted the pattern from which your world flows. This is not flattery. This is law. The outer world is not final. It is reflective, and the mirror does not change until the image before it does. If your inner speech is that of the fulfilled, the successful, the loved, the healthy, then in time the mirror must show the same. The delay is only your continued conversation with the old self, the self of doubt, of waiting, of effort. To dwell in a new state is to speak from it. If you were now the person you wish to be, what would you say within? Would you still plead? Would you still argue? Or would you speak from confidence, from completion, from quiet joy? That is the test. Not whether you can visualize for 5 minutes, but whether your inner words match your desire. For those words are not hidden, they are creative. You can hear them even now. The tone, the content, the rhythm. And if you do not like what you hear, you must interrupt the pattern. Not with force, but with choice. Begin gently. Replace the statement, this always happens to me, with everything is changing for my good. Say it until it feels natural. Say it until it echoes in silence. Say it until it speaks itself. And you no longer have to remember. Every outer experience begins as an inner phrase. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you are. And what you are is what you consistently tell yourself. So if you desire new outcomes, cultivate a new dialogue. Let your inner words be sacred, intentional, creative. Speak not from memory, but from destiny. And you will find that the world, with all its seeming independence, will move to reflect the story you have chosen to tell. You are not a victim of your past speech. You are the author of your present one. And in this moment, this very moment, you can begin a new chapter by simply speaking within what you wish to see. Without. Your words are power, your words are cause, and your world is your echo. So now, the path is clear, though it was never outside you to begin with. You have seen that manifestation is not a labor of time or effort, but a quiet rearrangement within. It is the still conviction that what you assume with feeling becomes your world. You have heard that imagination is not a dreamscape, but the womb of reality, and feeling is its life-giving breath. You have discovered that to live from the end is to collapse all delay, to inhabit the desire fulfilled, and let the outer world catch up in its own way, in its own rhythm. You have recognized that time is not your master. Assumption is. The moment you say, I am, the future bows. And you have understood that every silent conversation within becomes the living narrative of your days. The world listens always to your inner speech. Let this not remain knowledge, let it become practice. Let each moment become an opportunity to choose the state you wish to live from. Let your imagination be filled not with longing, but with possession. Let your feelings align not with appearances, but with truth known inwardly. And let your inner voice speak only from the beauty of what is already yours. You are always becoming what you are being now. Choose wisely, choose boldly. Choose from the end, and the world, without resistance, will mirror you completely.